One of the reasons why the K-pop fandom has become so chaotic is the constant emergence of all kinds of meaningless positions or labels. Over the past decade or so, anyone who has followed K-pop will have noticed a very strange phenomenon. People rarely put effort into appreciating the music or stage performances anymore. Instead, a random topic or even an offhand comment can instantly ignite conflict, dragging multiple fandoms into chaos. These arguments happen daily across all platforms, and nowadays, fighting seems to have become the main theme of the K-pop fandom. In the next few videos, I will break down different aspects of fan wars in K-pop. In this episode, we'll start with the first question: why are there always so many positions for fans to argue over? Let's begin with official positions. As mentioned in a previous video, a group is usually assigned roles like main dancer, main vocalist, visual, ace, rapper, etc., basically standard configurations for any group. However, being a main dancer doesn't mean that person lacks vocal ability or visuals. If that were the case, they probably wouldn't have debuted in the first place. Because of this, companies can choose to leave some roles undefined. And when there's no clear official labeling, many fans will naturally believe that their bias deserves those titles. Favoring one's own bias is a universal trait in fandom culture. A viewer once commented that SM Entertainment deliberately adjusts roles like ace and line distribution to generate buzz, leading to constantly shifting internal positions, sometimes even resulting in 3 or 4 different interpretations. As a result, whenever sensitive terms like main vocalist are brought up, multiple fandoms immediately go into battle mode. YG uses a similar strategy. They don't officially list positions for groups like Baby Monster or Blackpink on their website. This has always been YG's approach. Keeping roles vague allows fans to stir up discussion and conflict every comeback. But here's the harsh truth. Even if companies clearly define roles and strictly assign parts accordingly, fans will still argue. The reason is the same. Fans will always favor their own bias. Most K-pop fans don't treat official positions as absolute truth. In their eyes, what matters isn't how the company assigns roles, but what they personally believe their bias deserves. After all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. For example, if A is the main dancer, but A's fans believe A is also a strong vocalist, and they also think the group's main vocalist B isn't that good, then those fans might claim that A is the true main vocalist. This creates rivalry between A and B's fandoms. The moment main vocalist is mentioned, the two sides will inevitably clash. Fans also come up with endless justifications, such as, times are changing, position shouldn't be fixed, I'm just a neutral observer, but I think it sings better, or my bias is more popular, so they deserve the title. In short, if people want to argue, they can always find a reason. Now let's move on to unofficial positions, arguably the most abstract concept in fandom culture. Many of you have probably heard debates like, who is the number 1 dancer between Jang Wonyoung and Karina? I won't judge who's right, but you might wonder, where do these titles even come from? I've looked into this before, and the conclusion is that their origins are unclear. They're simply the result of collective fan hype and widespread online amplification. So why do so many of these meaningless labels exist? I think there are several reasons. First, official roles are not enough. Titles like main vocalist or main dancer aren't sufficient to prove how exceptional someone's bias is, so fans create new terms. For example, number 1 visual of the 5th generation, or number 1 all-rounder of the 6th generation. Second, the nature of fandom culture makes these topics especially prone to conflict. Singing and dancing can still have multiple evaluation standards, but visuals are even more subjective. Achieving an objective judgment is nearly impossible. This aligns perfectly with the inherently subjective nature of fandoms. If fandom A believes their bias is the most attractive, and fandom B believes the same about theirs, conflict is inevitable. Third, the more titles, the better. Having more labels attached to a bias signals higher popularity. Fandom culture doesn't require deep rational analysis. Many people only look at surface-level impressions. Fourth, platforms and content farms actively fuel the situation. Anyone who watches short videos knows that thumbnails with absolute terms like top attract more clicks. This kind of framing encourages opposition, which in turn triggers fan conflicts. And where there is conflict, there is traffic. Although these position wars bring more attention to K-pop, overall, the negative impact outweighs the positive. Idols' individuality gets reduced to fixed labels. Fans no longer focus on appreciating performances or music, but instead get trapped in endless arguments, sometimes even standing just for the sake of arguing. Positive narratives and meaningful promotion decrease, while more fans resort to digging up dirt on rival idols, spreading rumors, using burner accounts, and engaging in personal attacks. In the end, these so-called position debates are nothing more than a contest of who can shout the loudest.